Hey everyone, today I want to help you go from an unsure and unbooked photographer to someone who's fully booked and always active in the community that they're servicing. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Sergio and I'm a commercial photographer here in Victoria, BC. And there wasn't always a fully booked schedule in my agenda. Let's just say that many a time I was struggling and unsure whether or not I had made the right decision, and most of it stemmed from just being in this freelance world of never knowing where my next paycheck is coming from. It's something you have to get used to, and it's something that you kind of are signing up for if you're trying to get into this line of work. It's not something that necessarily gets easier, but I do think it's a lot tougher at the very start of your career because you don't have any of the additional connections and the experience to lean on, and none of the people in the industry really know who you are. You're just another dude with a camera, you're another person with a camera. I think one of the things you have to keep in mind is that you want to be patient and you want to know that this is going to be a long haul. But there was a time where I needed a change. I needed a switch. I was at like this turning point, I guess, in my life, in my career, and I was sick and tired of not being fully booked and not being, as busy as I thought I should be, and having to supplement my photography with random odd jobs on the side. It's not that that's a bad thing, but it isn't what I wanted for myself. It's not what I wanted out of my life and out of my career. It also happened to be like a worldwide shutdown, so there was that also happening that made it a little bit tough. But I was still at just this, this breaking point of I needed something to change. I needed something in my life that was more stable than the inherent instability that comes with this freelance job. And one of the ways that just a little way that I started thinking of things differently is thinking of photography in the same way as a regular job, really. I think one of the things that helped me understand that, I wanted this to be a job was to just treat this like a job, which meant putting all of my skills and all of my assets into a readable, succinct resume and giving it out to all the people and all the jobs that were available in my area that were looking for photographers. If you're in freelance as a photographer, you're constantly looking for a new client. If you work as a photographer, you wake up with a schedule filled with photography things. One of the things that I realized was instead of having a crappy little side job that was paying me, pennies on the dollar, doing something I didn't want to do, why don't I do a, let's say, equally paying job, but at least be doing the things that I wanted to be doing? There are aspects of photography and there are realms in the photography world that you can get into that pay relatively frequently, even though it's not as much as you might think. I was working with Walmart as a portrait photographer for the people who would sign up as for family portraits. I've done stuff for this app called Turo, which is basically like renting cars. I've worked with a lot of like tiny little odd jobs that weren't paying me very well, but at least they were photography related and kept me with a camera in my hands. By thinking of looking for jobs in the photography world instead of just trying to book my own jobs as a photographer, just helped me realize that, oh yeah, I can be a full-time photographer. I just need to work for other people as a photographer. There's a little bit of a contract basis, of a contract handshake, so to speak, of, two businesses working together to create a common goal, and there is still a little bit of that. It's not so much I'm working for people, I'm working with them, but at the very least it's synergistic to being a photographer. It's synergistic to my personal career as a photographer. I'm getting paid to learn how to take pictures every single day, rather than putting other people's money on the line for practice that I don't have. And if you're booking freelance gigs every 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you're not shooting nearly as much as the museum photographer or as the school portrait photographer that's shooting every single week at every event and every outing that they do. And then the graduation portraits at the end of the year and everything else that comes with those kinds of jobs. There are many jobs, I think, in your area that you could probably tap into if you just put a little bit of work and put a little bit of research in your neighborhood. Think of LinkedIn, think of Marketplace, think of, Monster or Indeed or any of those kinds of websites, but just narrow it down to photographer instead of courtesy clerk or whatever it is. As a photographer, you might not get the highest paying gigs if you're looking for a job as a photographer, but I guarantee you that 99% of those jobs that you land as a photographer won't be exclusive and won't take up all of your time. So if you can have 3 or 4 consistent jobs that book with you once a week, at least that's that much of your bills and your dues that you have to pay every month. At least that's that much covered. You don't have to worry about, I need to land at least 4 clients this month or else I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. Like, there isn't any of that because your consistent clients are already paying those expenses that you have that are recurring, that happen every month. So this is just a way that you can just kind of change the way you approach your photography in order to be full-time and to be busy throughout the year. I hope this helped you guys. Leave a like on your way out if you liked it, and maybe subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys in a couple days. Later.